Hello. I'm Rachel.
I'm Connie.
Today we're gonna do
A mukbang.
and also combining it with the
Spicy noodle challenge.
mm-hmm.
And I'm scared because I've never done this before, but Rachel has.
I've had one bite before and it was okay.
Okay, but we got two different ones.
Yeah, I got the stew version. So it's like soupy.
And I got the OG, like,
dry version. It's really good.
Okay, so we spontaneously thought of this idea like 20 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
we
it's
ran
like, what
to
time is it
H-Mart.
right now?
11
something.
Yeah.
And we like
Sunday night.
washed our face, floss and brush our teeth, and we're talking like, should we
Do a mukbang? And it's funny because everyone calls it mukbang.
It's because I'm not Korean, so that's why I say it like that.
And it's mukbang.
Okay, it's mukbang. So we're
Okay.
gonna do this because I've always wanted to do one.
And we're going to talk about random things.
Oh,
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Right?
But we're gonna try to eat this too.
Okay, okay.
Okay, should we
We'll
go?
do both. Okay,
Okay.
ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I thought you were cooking. I'm scared.
You have to make the fun slurping sound. I swallowed.
Wait, it's so spicy.
That's so good.
Wait, it's so spicy.
You have to finish.
Wait, it's so spicy.
We agreed to put in the full amount of spiciness, and we're gonna finish.
Wait, but I feel like it's not fair because yours is soupy, so I feel like the soup is where all the spice is. You know?
Okay,
Because your
okay.
noodles don't taste as spicy, be honest.
It's still spicy.
Be honest.
I'm not dying, but it's spicy.
Because this one's so
So I try a bite of mine.
Yeah, that's true. Here, try it
Okay.
in comparison.
I feel like yours isn't as spicy.
What?
Or yours is like a deeper burn.
Are you serious? I feel like it's
Never mind. It
really
hit me.
Oh. And this was Rachel's idea. Oh my gosh. And I know
I wasn't trying to cop out of the spiciness though. I just wanted the super one.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm so late to the game with this. When did this come out? Like 2 years ago? Yeah, I feel like I'm super late.
I'm starting to.
But it's good. Because I remember everyone said that this is good. But it's just the fact that it's like so spicy.
You know, you want to eat something spicy and then you like drink something hot, even that thing's not spicy, it like makes it worse.
Is your water hot?
Yeah. Or I'm just like, I think my body feels the fear. Oh.
It's good, but I'm also hungry.
Your body knows.
Body knows. So.
Oh.
What?
Conversation time?
Yeah. Because you have to have a conversation while you're doing your mukbang, right?
Mm-hmm. True. Well, we're supposed to talk to our followers. Shout out Olivia. Who's the only one who wanted to do a shout out since you do them all the time.
On my podcast. They're fun, right? That's why I feel like sometimes I just spend like 10 minutes doing
Just shout outs, yeah. And also,
shout-outs for this
there's
person.
me. I'm like driving. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm famous. I'll turn to like whoever's next to me, like Rock or something. Like, I'm famous.
Oh my god.
I'm famous to all of Connie's 10 followers.
Yeah. Like my solid 5. Oh my god. I'm dying. Well, welcome to my little... We're doing this in my room.
Mm-hmm. We're on our knees right now.
On my desk. True New York fashion.
On the ordinary wrapping paper of our table mat. Because it's too nice to just throw it away.
Yeah,
So we're putting it to good use.
I know, yesterday we went skincare shopping.
Mm-hmm. And Connie educated me on all the skincare.
I feel like I can't talk. I feel like my tongue is like coming down.
Okay, I'll talk for her.
Okay.
Because fun fact, she worked at Heyday in Upper
did.
West Side. So she knows all about skincare,
Which is a facial store.
which is a facial store.
And they
Okay,
have
Connie,
really
let's
reasonable
drink my
like
soup.
price facials. I feel like I'm bumbling because I'm literally getting them.
It's okay, I understand you.
How do people do these, like, looking cute? Oh my gosh.
I know they have makeup on.
That's true.
And I don't think they're eating spicy things, so.
That's why I said
This turned more into a spicy challenge than a mukbang. We're not making it look very,
mukbanging.
like, appealing. Because it's just like.
That's true, because mukbangs are supposed to make you, like, want food.
Okay, let me practice, like, doing, like, a satisfying slurp.
There you go.
Oh, it's hot.
Because Rachel, I first initially suggested McDonald's.
You suggested McDonald's.
I know, I said I first did.
Oh.
But then Rachel said she only likes watching mukbangs with ramen or fried chicken.
Those are the most satisfying.
And then somehow it became this.
So we're doing ramen. Ramen satisfying. I got that.
Do you think it's the soup?
Yeah. I like inhale the fumes. You know, spicy.
I can't handle this anymore.
You have to finish. How about I'll finish and drink half my soup?
I'll try my best.
Okay.
Well, I thought we'd have more conversation, but I can't.
I think we'll just die.
I didn't think this would actually be this spicy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
Like, I knew it was spicy because people are always like, oh, it's so spicy. But then I was like, I don't know. How spicy could it, like, really be? Because then some people were like, oh, it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or some people like to mix this with the... What's that other one with the brown sauce?
Jajangmyeon?
No.
Japaghetti?
I think it's like the Thai version. But they like to mix the two and it's actually really yummy.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Who invented this?
Korean people.
Why?
Your people.
Why? Literally, why? And what's crazy is that there's a 2 times spicy version.
Yeah, we were like, we picked that up first and then...
And then I found that that was 2 times more.
And Connie's like, oh, this is the original version, so we got this. Thankfully. I was tempted to be like, let's just do the 2 times. If we're gonna go for it, we'll just go for it. God, we didn't go for it.
I think I need to tie my hair. They're getting hot.
I feel like we need to take this bite for like 2 minutes.
It's just us going.
That's why I said we should just make it into an audio file and put it on your podcast and just be like...
It'll be us slurping.
Ooh, fun plug. Connie has a podcast with her roommate, Angela. They talk about
Sleeping, which is why we're in my room.
on our knees.
On our knees.
Eating ramen.
But yeah, fun plug.
Yeah. Check it out. It's called...
So anyways.
And you can find it on Spotify.
Which is crazy. I can't believe that thing. You can just like upload things like that to Spotify. But yeah. It's like the type of pain that like really doesn't go away. And it's not even like a good flavor anymore.
Do you want to try?
Do you think you can eat this?
Huh? Yeah. I can do it.
Wow, Rachel is like... Yeah, I didn't know that you were this good about spicy things.
I'm like, okay, I'm not that great. But I like to be brave. I think we already established before, though, that I'm better than you. Even though you're Korean. But then we're both better than Olivia.
Oh, yeah.
But she's gotten better. We weaned her into hot Cheetos.
That's true. Do you feel like... Okay, also fun fact. I found Rachel on Facebook.
She stalked me. Did you? Tell them about how you stalked me.
Who didn't?
Oh my gosh, we're talking about our love story.
I'm dying. Okay, so basically, for those of you that don't know, except Olivia knows and she's the only one watching.
Thanks, Olivia.
I went to nursing school with Rachel. And then when I first got accepted, I was looking for roommates. So there's like a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Which is a hype man. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Sounds good.
And then everyone was like posting like, oh yeah, like I need a roommate or this is my budget. And you know what's funny? It's because I saw Vivian's post. And Vivian is our friend too.
Yeah.
Who we later met. She was the first one who posted and was like, hey, like, and then I'm looking for a roommate. This is like my budget. And then Rachel commented on them. So naturally, like anybody else would do, I started looking through everybody who was like replying on the comments. And I was like, oh, like maybe I can just reach out to these people too because I'm gonna need roommates. And then I found Rachel. And then we had like 2 random mutual friends on Facebook.
No, we had more than 2.
It was only 2 because then I realized I wasn't even friends with Rocco on Facebook. That's why I didn't know he was.
No, you were.
I don't think I was.
Because I looked through when I can't talk.
Okay, what happened is I only thought we had like 2 mutual friends from like random places. So I was like, okay, at least it's better that we have mutual friends and not like a complete random person. So I messaged her, like I Facebook messaged her, being brave and hoping that she wasn't a serial killer. And then the crazy part was that later that night, Jumbo, who's my boyfriend for people who might not know.
I think you say awkwardly.
I feel like all the Olivia's gonna watch this. He like texted me and he's like, hey, are you looking for roommates? And I was like, wait, how do you know? I haven't told you yet. And he was like, Rocco just called me. And Rocco is Jumbo's friend from DSP, which is their frat in undergrad. We went to UCLA together. They're like pretty close at UCLA. Because apparently Rocco called him and was like, hey, I think Connie just messaged my girlfriend. And that's when me and Jumbo were like, why? Like, you're dating somebody?
Oh, that's the first time you found out that he's dating someone?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't really know because I feel like I didn't
Is
really...
Jumbo found out?
Yeah, Jumbo didn't know. And then we're like, what? What a small world. So this rando girl that I messaged ended up being...
Rando girl.
Somehow associated. And then that's how we started talking. And then we had like a good...
Now she loves me. Anyways, keep going.
And then we had like 3 months where we were definitely like online talking. We were like roommate talking and like figuring out how we should live and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we're like sharing paragraphs about our lives
and like what we're interested in. And then we actually met in person. But then the reason I bring all this up is because...
Oh my gosh, I should get my phone and read some of our old messages.
Oh my god, I would die.
BRB.
No.
Keep talking.
But then I was bringing this up because now it's been like almost 2 years since we moved to New York. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. It's been almost 2 years. And Rachel moved back to LA in September. And then I was just thinking like, am I different than how you first thought me? Yes. Or what you thought your first impression of me was?
Yeah.
And it's hard because we started talking before we met.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like we've talked about this before. Because, oh my gosh, I have the feels. Can I read your first message? But to correct the story, we had more than 2 mutual friends because I saw that Rocco was one of our mutual friends. I was like, hold on, she literally knows my boyfriend. And I don't think you like, and then you didn't realize that he was
I didn't realize that we were friends, yeah.
Maybe you didn't like look the whole list. I did a thorough look at the whole list. I was like, and I stalked her cover. I was like, oh my gosh, she's
which now that I know you, it makes a lot of sense. You would do a thorough look before responding to me.
Yeah, I gotta know what I'm getting myself into. Okay, so she said, do you want to read it?
No.
She's eating. She said, hi, Rachel, smiley face. I'm Connie, exclamation point.
I'm dying.
I saw you in the Columbia group saying you might be interested in rooming/finding an apartment. I noticed we had a few mutual friends. Yeah, she really thought it was just a few. So I thought it'd be a good place to start. A little like fobby, like squiggle. You don't talk like that anymore. I haven't committed 100% yet, but I felt like since I'm literally sweating out of my glasses. Felt like since Columbia would start so soon, it would help to get a head start. Oh my gosh, this is so weird.
Wow, and then the funny thing is, looking at this now, we were so like
Nice to each other.
Yeah, we were so nice to each other. We were so peppy.
Mhm.
And then Rachel, I mean, you still talk like this over text.
I still use
You're like really
emojis.
animated.
She doesn't.
I do.
But that's what people always say, like, when they meet me, I'm like really animated over text.
Yeah.
And then I think when you meet me, I can be like a little. Am I like reserved at first a little bit?
Yeah.
No, so I think
'cause
people are like surprised.
that was my first impression though. Because over text, because I've only been texting or like messaging with Rachel, she was like super animated. Everything she says is in the caps or like with like smiley faces and
Lots
like,
of exclamation
like
points.
Yeah, but then I met her in person because remember we had to go sign our lease with Olivia and we like all met up in LA. Even though I didn't live in LA, I was like visiting. And then Rachel was so quiet. You were really quiet.
Okay, it was early. Oh my god, it's the first time we met.
It was the first time we met, and then I think I was just shocked that you were so quiet.
Oh, really?
Because I was expecting you to be like, oh my
Bouncing
God.
off the walls, like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then now that I know you, that's more your personality. But it was just when we first met.
To warm up.
Yeah.
When I first met Connie, or like my expectation of Connie was, I thought she was like. Even when we were living together, I thought she was like more Korean than she is, because like she talked to her mom every day on the phone in Korean. So I was like, oh yeah, she's like, and I have like a lot of Korean friends from undergrad. I know a lot of Korean people, so I was like, oh yeah, she's like one of them, like K-Town, like, or like, and then when I brought that to her, she's like, no, I'm like the whitest like person. I was like, no, you're not. But now I agree, she's like not super Korean.
I am super Americanized. Which
And
another
detour.
Florida. I know I did. Why are you saying it like that?
Florida.
Everyone hates on Florida.
Yikes.
But then that's why I was telling Rachel one of my dreams is to live abroad and I want to live in Korea for a year. But I think it'd be really hard.
You live in Korea and I'll live in Taiwan. We can visit each other.
Okay, perfect. Wow, I can't believe we're almost done.
I had to take like a 5-minute break.
Okay,
In case you didn't notice, but
in case I didn't notice you running away to get your phone and leaving me here and eating and talking. Wait, I'm sweating.
Me too.
Okay.
And I can't breathe through my nose, so I'm like mouth breathing while I'm like, eating. So
Oh no, that makes it worse. Okay, what's the biggest? Do you feel like you learned like a weird quirk about? I feel like this is like a me and my
about you,
boyfriend
so
chat.
many.
No, but really, what's like the weirdest quirk you learned about me or that I have? I'm gonna try to think one for you.
Okay, wait. You need to give me time to think.
This one actually tastes pretty good.
Right? It has like a good flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything on the spot.
Or what's something that you thought you found out about me that was like really unexpected?
Oh, I think Connie is like more rebellious than I thought she was. Cause like, you know, like my first impression of her was formed like obviously through social media. So I was like, okay, she was in CCM and like dating like another Korean guy, like whatever, like. And then like slowly, I'd hear like stories about her, or like she'd tell me stories about like herself, about how she like pierced her own like belly button, like whatever, and like all this, and I was like, excuse me, this is not the person that I thought you were. I was like,
you all that.
yeah, and I was slowly like, I think she's like low key like, but then it made me feel like more connected to you because I feel like I was super rebellious.
Wait, I was
in high school.
literally just about to say that's the same thing for you.
Yeah. Oh, did you think the same thing about me?
Yeah, because I feel like outwardly people can see us as very just like, oh, we go to church, like I can't breathe. We like go to church and like we're both like just like
This is just
we're like slowly sitting down. I can't do this. And we're both like, and a lot of people think I'm from California, so we're just like.
I thought you seemed very California,
SoCal,
like when I first met
Asian
you.
girls, like Christian SoCal Asian girls.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's how people think of us, which isn't wrong.
Yeah.
I'll admit
But
that
it's
I give
definitely a
off
stereotype
that persona.
that, like-
yeah.
Yeah.
But then Rachel was telling me like her rebellious years and how you would dye your hair and how you got your ear pierced, and I was like, what? And I think that's why I was like surprised. Like, not that there's anything wrong with like going to like music festivals or anything, but I think that's why I was like really surprised that you would go to like Odessa and like Coachella not as much because I
Mhm.
feel like that became more like a lot more like different kind of people
Mhm.
go. But like, you know, I think I was just surprised. Cause I was like, oh my gosh, I thought she was just this like quiet. Especially after I met you, I thought you were like a quiet, reserved.
Oh my
like,
gosh, really?
Yeah,
That's
because you were so
funny.
quiet. Or I thought you were more serious than you are.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the first time, me and Olivia told you that first time
Yeah.
we met her at that cafe to sign her lease,
Mm.
I thought you were like serious. So me and Olivia were like, oh my god, she's so serious.
Wait, so when did that change? Like, when did you start to realize, like, oh, like, maybe she's not like that? Like, was it, like, the first week we lived together, or, like, it took a little longer, or, like...
I think it took a while. Because I think that first summer, we were all adjusting.
It took the whole summer?
Oh, no, I didn't think you were serious all summer.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like how I see you now and your personality, I saw it more in the fall.
Really?
Because I think in the summer, we were still all kind of, like, awkward.
Oh, like, we were,
And,
like,
like,
weird with each other.
Yeah, and we were all,
Okay.
like, adjusting to New York. So a lot of times we'd just, like, be in our rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, that's true.
Which I think is normal.
Literally, all I remember about, like, summer is, like, we went to McDonald's, like, all the time.
Yeah, and that's how we bonded.
Yeah.
But then that's what I mean. I feel like it took us a little while. I mean, we went church hop together.
Yeah. I think that was good, but I think, like, then we had, like, lunch together afterwards, and then, like, our conversations were, like, a little more, like, serious, which was, like, good, but I can see how, like...
Yeah, it wasn't, like,
We're just not, like,
until later.
Babbling on about, like, random silly stuff like we do now.
Like, let's do a mukbang.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, like, sweating.
My heart is, like, palpitating, I think.
Yeah.
Just, like...
Honestly, I'm, like, so impressed that you ate so much of that.
Really?
Yeah, because I can't. My mouth is already, like, crying just thinking about eating it again.
I mean, again, I'm taking 5-minute breaks in between each bite.
I know, but still, I feel like if you stop, it, like, lingers. Wait, I'm sweating. I'm gonna sleep in, like, a tank top and shorts.
Mm.
Well, but then just give you the feels.
Yeah. I always like to think about my friendships and see, like, where we came from, or, like, how far we've come.
I know. And it's, like, so much harder now that we're getting older with, like, friends.
I feel like it's harder to make friends. Like, it's harder to just have that, like, connection where, like, I feel like in undergrad, it's, like, it's so easy just to quickly form friendships and get close super fast, but I feel like it doesn't happen in postgrad.
No, for sure.
Yeah. But, so I think that's why I was, like, glad I had you and Olivia, because, like, I feel like for everyone else that's, like, my friend now from Colombia, it took much longer to, like, get to that point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And no, because literally after the summer, I was like, wow, like, I have 2 friends from New York, Connie and Olivia. Shout out. Shout out to my only 2 friends in New York.
But I feel like in grad school, like, everyone does their own thing. So it's kind of hard to, like, branch out. Or at least, like, our cohort was super cliquey. Not that... whatever. I don't think anyone will watch this.
True.
It was really cliquey. I mean, and I'm sure people thought, like... I feel
Well, it's
like
just 'cause
people
there's
always
a lot of
grouped, like, the 3 of
drama.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, everyone else, for the most part, but I think by the end, everyone was, like, a lot more, like, open and stuff. I think at the beginning, people probably saw us as, like, the 3 little Asian girls who, like, always came into class together and sat together. That's what that is what we were.
We were. And everyone was like, oh, they're from California, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're like,
But eventually I was just like, yep, I'm from California. So it was just easier to say than give my whole life story.
Sunshine Club.
Oh, yeah.
We're both
Memories.
from sunny states.
We are from sunny states. I kind of miss our old program.
Why?
I think it was more... I think it was kind of like another step after college where it's kind of like your only responsibility really is school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But now that we're all like moving on from that and people have to find jobs, like you're working now.
Almost.
Going to be working.
Going to be working.
It feels like now you can't have that excuse of like, oh, my only responsibility is school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, then I'm just like living off loans.
That's
but still
true.
like playing in New York.
I feel like for us, the MDE was I think I also thought of grad school. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's when you're growing up. Like, but I think for us, even though a lot of people in our cohort had like families and stuff in their own lives, like I feel like that was like the last semblance of like, because I look back, I was like, wow, I was like still like young and dumb in some ways, even just like less than a year ago. And I feel like that was like my last shred. I mean, I'll probably say the same thing in a year, but
yeah,
we were just like not working. We like still played every weekend, and
We
like
did.
still lived with roommates and like all that stuff. And you're like,
yeah,
yeah,
I agree. And then now that I see how things are so different, and I feel like we have so much more like, and it sounds like such like baby problems. Like people are probably like, ugh, I've been working for like X amount of years, and I get that, but it's still a harsh transition.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like real life responsibilities.
Like opening a savings account.
Like opening a savings account.
Having to do like benefits stuff. I was like looking at my benefits. Dog was like, dude, I don't understand this. I'm letting my tongue cool off.
But then you have to have one more spicy bite.
Yeah. My last bite. Are you gonna drink the soup?
I'll try a little bit.
Okay. This video's almost half an hour long. It took us almost half an hour to eat this.
Literally, this is what happens when me and I Georgia podcast. We looked at it and we're like, wait, what have we been talking about for like 45 minutes?
Very interesting thing.
Yeah.
To the people who love you. Shout out to the people who love us. Blanket statement.
I think that's why it's fun.
And these are like good memories. We're gonna look back on this in a few years and be like, wow.
This is like where we were in life.
Yep.
Or sometimes it's like, I wish. Obviously, I feel like the best conversations are candid, right? But I wish that there was like a way that I could like always record them.
Right.
Sometimes I would like
stop
love to
in the middle.
replay, like replay conversations. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that was like such a good conversation, and it makes me so like sentimental and nostalgic. But it's hard because the best ones are when it's unexpected and like meaningful.
I mean, that's probably like why it happens that way, because it's like it's not planned. Like, you
Yeah.
know, just like,
And that's what makes it meaningful.
yeah.
My stomach's like doing jumping jacks.
Ooh, if this is gonna be like a time capsule, like, then what are you looking forward to in the next like year, like couple or few years? Like, if you could like lock this moment in time, like, what would that look like for you? I just changed the question. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I get your drift, but it was like a little different. Okay, so today's January 27th, 2019. What was the question? I got confused because you changed it.
Okay, I changed it. So, like, if
Okay.
you could, like, lock this moment in time, like, what does it look like for you? Like, what does your life look like? Like, what are your current, like, hopes and dreams? Or just, like, whatever you want to talk about. Like,
Okay. Like
the
in
now
this moment.
Connie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Connie. I think the now Connie is in a place where I feel like everything in my life is stable.
Okay.
Like, and everything that I've wanted and everything that I've like prayed about and everything that I've just like waited about all happened
Okay.
at one time. You know what I mean?
But do you feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like, wow, everything's in line. It feels like something's going to go wrong because, like,
yeah, but
everything
then
can't be perfect at once. Like,
actually, this is like a deeper problem that I have that I was like telling Juva about. Basically, I have this thing where I feel like if something good happens, I just assume something negative has to happen. Because I'm like, there's no way that things can be. I feel like I deserve to have like bad things happen because things have been so good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's like everything's so good, you're just like waiting for something bad to happen. It has happened. Like,
yeah,
at
so
some
then I
point.
get like scared, or like I'm like, oh, like God should give me something bad because I don't deserve these like good things that are happening. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's not how it works, but I can't help it. But that's like my cycle of thinking. And then if it's something bad, then I'm like, oh my gosh, like maybe something good will come. So if it's like a good period for a while, I get like more and more anxious as it continues on. You know what I mean?
I feel like I'm like the opposite.
Really?
When things are good, I just tend to just like soak it in and be like super grateful. Like everything's like so good right now, and then when things are bad, like it's really hard for me to see like the other side. Like, oh, like maybe things will like turn around. Maybe things will like start getting better. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's my turn to sit down.
Yeah. It's kind of hard though. Or it's like I was saying, like right now, Connie feels pretty good about everything. But then I'm like, oh no, like even if the smallest thing happens, like it's so ridiculous. Like even like, so my family, everyone in my family except my dad got the stomach virus because it started with Henry, who's my nephew.
The cutest baby ever.
But then even that, and then my mom was like really sick for it, and so I started getting worried, and I was like, oh my god, like maybe this is like what's bad because my life is so good. Like maybe like the bad things are happening like, to the people I care about, and like in that way,
gosh,
that's like
you can't
me.
think like that.
Like I dig myself into like that kind of a hole. You know
I guess in a way it does like make sense because like these are people who care so much about that. Like what happens to them is going to
and I'm like, oh okay, so that's the bad thing that's like gonna come, or like is it gonna be worse? And then I start like, I know, me too. You know.
Okay,
that's like what I think.
So is that like a conscious thought, or just you just feel that like from time to time?
I'm gonna sit too. Wait, did you finish your noodles?
Yeah, I finished.
Me too.
But your soup.
Okay,
I like we just like ended up sitting.
Wait, let's bring it closer. Oh, I feel like there's change from a mukbang to a vlog.
Wow. Wow, so handy. Our cups,
so smart.
Our cups or our bowls are propping the.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
Our low maintenance. I know. Now we can just chill. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't excuse my clothes pile.
Yeah, this is everything that came off the table.
Yeah. So I feel like now. Wait, what were we talking about? I got distracted.
Oh, is it like a conscious thought, like, or is it something like all the time, or is it just something that you worry about like from time to time? Like how much of like?
Oh, I think I just worry about it time to time when I have too much time on my hands. Like obviously if I'm busy, then I'm like, oh, okay, like I won't think about it. But then if I actually like sit down and like have time to like kind of reflect or like journal or like go for a walk, I start like thinking about it.
Do you think it affects like your like gratitude or like your trust in God that like this is how he has like planned and that he does have like good things in store for you, and not, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Or I feel like the deeper root of the problem is like I feel like I don't deserve things.
Okay.
Like I'm grateful, but I'm like dwell so much in the fact that I'm like a sinner.
Okay.
And
but do you feel like you haven't like worked hard for it? Like if you are gonna look from like a secular point of view, like do you feel like you haven't put in the work and that it was like handed to you on accident, or do you just feel like?
Or no, I feel like I do work on it. And that's why when we were talking about like karma the other day, it's not like I believe in karma, but it's the idea that like I feel like if I'm faithful in things, like God does provide. And in that way I'm like, oh, I feel like in these ways like the little things I did could be like God rewarding me in a way. So in that sense I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I could work up, like I worked up to it in a way. But then I always have this underlying guilt that like, oh, I don't deserve it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I think I can't get over the idea of like overflowing grace and mercy. Like
that's what I was gonna like ask next. So I feel like if that's like
continuously.
kind of like workspace like mindset.
Yeah.
And like less of a grace based. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I think it's like hard, and that's why like if I do things or like if I have like repetitive behaviors and like I'm like, oh, like this is so like unpleasing to God, I like beat myself up so much about it because I'm like, oh, like I suck, like I already don't like deserve it, but like I'm so stupid that I like forgot that this was bad, and then I like go into this like whole thing.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
That's so funny. We actually like talked about something similar to that at small group today.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like either there's like this the like narrow path, and like do you either fall in the chasm of like probably more like type A mindset, like, oh, like these are the rules, I just like need to follow them, like, or like I messed up, like I need to do something to make it right, or like you fall into like the other chasm of like okay, like grace, like if I mess up, like I'll be forgiven, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like very like.
Or the crazy thing is, this is like me really pinpointing and overthinking. Okay. The times where I've like done things, like 99% of the time I'll feel guilty if I like sin, right? And then I'll go into that thought of like, oh my god, like I'm so stupid, like I know that it's like I'm pleasing to God, but I like still did it. But then like the other 1% of the time when I'm like apathetic and I'm like, you know what, like I don't care, like I'm just tired, like I'm tired of worrying and stuff like that, I feel like bad things happen.
Oh, so it's kind of perpetuating it because you feel like you're worrying about it is like making
it's like valid.
Yeah,
but it's not always. But the times that it's happened, I'm like hypersensitive to it, so I'm like, oh my god, this is it, like this is the bad thing, and then that makes me like feel guilty. Does that make sense? And I'm like, it must be because like, of course it must be because of like the one thing that I did. Oh, you know what I mean? Like even if it's something so irrelevant, like one time there was like a season where I felt like super apathetic, and then like one of the days I got a call from my sister that this was in college. I got a call from my sister that her dog died. And then my sister was like super upset. And then I was like, that must be because of me.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thinking. But I naturally like overthink a lot. So I know like, and this is like something I'm like still working on. And that's why I know like this cycle is just me really like overthinking it and thinking like I don't deserve these things. But at the same time, like that doesn't revolve around me. Like my sister's life doesn't revolve around me. Like I don't know, it's like a complicated thing. Yeah, but it's like still something I have a hard time with.
Interesting. So again, like one of my small group leaders from Thai, she shared about how like for Lent she gave up worry, and she said that actually really changed a lot of like the way she like I guess like thinks like about her day. It's like that conscious thought, like, oh, like I gave up worrying, like I can't worry, like and that like really, and so like that's like really interesting. Like maybe I'll try that. Yeah,
I need to.
Next video, we'll try it and then let you know how it went.
We should do like a BuzzFeed video. 40 days of trying to not worry. Yeah, one vlog each day. I don't know how we got on this topic.
I know, we really like just kind of like went off.
But yeah, what would you want in your time? Wait, it was a time capsule. Yeah. Okay, what do you think? What do you want to like? Whatever your question was.
Oh my gosh. This girl.
You worded it better. Like, in this moment, what would you...
Well, I know what
How are you?
What are you thinking?
What's going on?
What's going on? What's up in your life?
Time now. What do you want to remember? What are you looking forward to?
Oh my goodness.
It's coming back to me. What are you looking forward to?
I think I'm looking forward to... Did I share this with you before?
What?
So...
You always ask that.
Oh, I always... Dude, my memory got so bad. Like,
no, but you always ask before you tell me.
Because I don't want to... I hate being that person that tells stories over and over.
But then I don't know what it is if you don't tell me.
So that's why I start off with like disclaimer and then I start talking and you can correct me if you've heard it before.
Rachel always is. She's like, did I tell you this before? And I'm like, what?
And
like,
you have to sometimes I get confused if I told you or Olivia. So that's why I'm like...
That's valid.
Yeah.
But still, you do that where you're like, did I tell you this before? And I'm like, you didn't tell me anything yet, so I don't know.
Okay, then now that you know, I don't have to say it anymore and then just like literally let me know. Okay, so you don't have to like pretend like to hear it again.
Okay. I would do that to Gage.
Now I was just like, oh.
Because I know I do that. So I'm like,
oh.
It's nice.
It's okay.
You. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I like to do themes for my years.
Oh, I don't think you told me this.
Okay. So my theme for this year is abundance.
Yeah, you didn't tell me this.
Okay. Thank you for double confirming.
I'm like, what if you did tell me this?
Because I feel like after I moved home from New York, like I've like shared this with people. I feel like living in New York can be like tough, you know, because it's like I feel like you always have to be on guard, like especially as a woman, like walking around, you can't just like really like comfortably walk around the streets like late at night and stuff like that. And then it's like also like all last year we were like living off loans, so we felt super poor, and like it's an expensive city, and just like I think I felt like stressed with school, so I didn't feel I could like invest in like different things as much as I wanted to. So I just felt like it wasn't as like much or like fruitful as like I want my like life to be. So I think when I was like reflecting towards the end of like 2018, I was like, this year feels like it holds a lot of promise, like because I'm gonna be starting a new job, like, and then so that way I'll be able to start paying off my loans, like finances will be good, like I'll get to like start this like career that I've been working for, and like just like other like things here and there, like that just feels like this year, like I'm hoping for like a year of like abundance, when like before I felt really like sparse and kind of like dry, because I feel like my like relationship with God has been like renewing ever since like I moved home, and that's been a really like beautiful thing too. So I want to like carry that into this year and see like what God wants to teach me through this period of like newness and like transition, and like I know I've shared about like how now I'm just like super open with like whatever the future holds, like no plans, like I'm open to like whatever happens, because like really, you can't plan anything
literally.
So I'm like hopeful for like, you know, even though like everything's unknown and I like can't plan out my future, like I think I'm excited for like what God is going to show me in this year. So I feel like I'm at like a place of like, I also use like the term like joyful anticipation a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, like I don't think everything in my life is like perfect right now, but I think I'm like, I feel like I have like a sense of peace knowing that like God's got me through it all. And, like either way I'll like learn and grow through it. It's like it was his plan, you know?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Wow. Catch me next time like, everything sucked in 2019. Like it was a terrible year. This year was the worst.
No, but I think that's good. And I think with like, I was actually talking to Christina one time, because I was like telling her about like the whole idea about like getting engaged and how much like I'm obsessed with the idea of getting engaged.
Oh, are we talking about this topic now?
Not in detail, but I was like talking to her about it, and then I was telling her like what I told you last year. I had like a really hard time, so I was like talking to my pastor about it, and then he was like, oh, like you can't like force anything to happen, like you just, because like people in the world will always force you and try to peer pressure you and try to sway what you want, so like always make decisions based on your values and not like your circumstance. So I was like,
great advice.
Yeah, I was like, that's really solid advice. So then since then I like was like, you know what, like I feel like I like idolize this idea of like getting engaged and getting married, but I'll just like let it go. And it was like so painful, which sounds like so ridiculous talking about it, but it was like really painful for me. And I was like telling Christina like it was so hard, and then that's why I like never brought it up. And when people would ask me, I'd be like, I really don't know, and I would set like an arbitrary like timeline. But then like now, a year later, like talking about it more, and then seeing how like it was like more coming together. I was like more coming together. I was like explaining all this to Christina, like the conversation I was like telling you, and then she was like, but then can't you see that like that's the fruit of like letting it go? And I was like, I know, literally, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it like that, because in my mind it was just like different segments of time. You know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, like I really feel like that's like the fruit of like releasing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that for you.
That's so beautiful. Oh, thanks.
It reminded me of that. So I feel like everything you let go, you'll like replenish, and then one day you'll be like, oh my gosh, like this is everything that I wanted, but I didn't even realize it was in my time. No,
but
Olivia
that and I cry a lot.
Oh, yeah, always.
You're like,
this is really, now Olivia's gonna be the only one who sees this.
I know.
45 minutes.
If you really love us.
I know. But yeah, it was so sweet. And I was like, oh, it's hard. But then it's like worth it. And then I feel like everything happens in like timing when you're like, wow, it was really perfect. You know?
That's true. I feel like this like past season where like a lot of things were hard was like a season where it was hard for me to see God's faithfulness. And I think in that season, like even though like I have had these periods of time before, but it's so easy to forget, you know, and like to freak out. And I was just like, I think like I'm hoping that this past season like taught me again about God's faithfulness. I think a lot of things just fell into place with like my job and like that whole process. I feel like he really was showing me that he was like there with me every step of the way, and like everything was just so like perfectly placed. So I feel like I learned about like that's something I want to like carry into like obviously like future hardships and stuff are going to happen, or like tough times, and just like remember back like, oh, like remember when like God was faithful and like this promise or like this happened like after I like decided to like let go of this or whatever.
So now you remember.
Now I remember. Oh, now I'll watch this and remind myself.
And you'll have to fast, or you can just sit through our entire.
I'll sit through the whole thing because memes.
Wow. You know what this makes me want to do? This makes me want to like do this with like different people in my life.
Oh, in a video format or a podcast format? I don't know. Pending. Are you just spin off?
Round 2. I don't know though.
We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll
Something may be in the works. Stay tuned, followers.
I'm dying.
Okay, should we end this?
Yeah.
Let's make a code word for whoever got to the end. If you got to the end, say this, like, DM, message or text us because you know us. Message us the code word so we know you're a real friend.
Ooh, okay. Wait, where are we putting this?
YouTube?
Oh.
If it fits.
Oh, yeah. It's a really long video.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think about that.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Okay, well. Okay, what should our code word be? It has to be something like really random.
Yeah. Because otherwise...
I mean, actually...
No one's gonna just like guess. Like, no one's gonna just be like, message us a random word.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Unless they got here anyways.
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be an emoji.
Okay, why don't you act out the emoji that they're supposed to do?
Okay, it'll be a word.
Let's make our word Henry.
Oh.
Shout out to Henry.
Who will not see this because he's 16 months old. And his parents do not let him watch anything.
That's good.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
They make him read. He knows how to say book.
That's so smart.
He'll bring a book and say book.
Oh my gosh, I'm dead. Can you record it next time?
Yeah, I will.
Oh my god.
And he knows how to blow kisses. Did I tell you that? I'll show you. I have a video of that one. Okay.
Okay, anyways, bye.
Yeah, well, send us Henry.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, it's like past midnight now.